What's up, guys? Right here. This is the long-awaited part 2 for Kagune. This is gonna be attacking. So first step, what you want to do is animate like the tail to attack. So I'm gonna just create an animation in Moon and then flip it and export both of them. So then I have like two attack animations, and we'll just rock with that. So my new animation. I'm gonna just call it tail swing. For the timeline, add item, can't select it. There we go. Okay. Now we're gonna animate it. Yeah, I'm gonna animate and then I'll be right back. It's gonna be like a time lapse. Alright, so I got my two animations. I'm going to export them now. I'll save the Roblox. This is left. And then this one will be right. Alright, so now that you have like your animations like exporting and stuff, what you want to do is you want to, I believe we did a preloader, yeah. So go to the preloader, open up the animations folder, insert two animation objects, and you can just duplicate it. I'm gonna just call this left swing and right swing, and then get the IDs of the animations. So I'm gonna go to my animations, grab left, and then I'm gonna go and grab right. Right, so I have them too. So now what we want to do is I'm gonna like explain like how this is gonna work. So I'm gonna make a local script. We're gonna call this attack. We'll just call it attack. And then we're gonna make a server script, and we're gonna call this attack underscore server. And then we're gonna make a remote event, and we're gonna call this attack. So now what we have to do is, in order for the attacks to run, we have to make sure that you have the Kagune like enabled, like how we have like the enabler and disabler of the Kagune. So in order to do that, go into your server script, and if you scroll down, I believe it's a folder. Actually, it's not a folder. It's in the character. Okay. So we check the name of the Kagune. We gotta make sure we have like the exact name of the model, right? So now what we want to do is go to local attack. I'm gonna just do local players equal to game get service players local player, and then we're gonna do local UIS is equal to game get service user input service, not user service, user input service, and then we're gonna do local RP is equal to game colon get service replicated storage, and then local attack is equal to RP wait for child attack, right? So since we have user input servers referenced, and we have the remote event reference. So now what we want to do is just copy these two lines, go to the server script, and paste them, right? So now what we want to do is we want to make a debounce. So local debounce is equal to false, and then we're gonna make a cooldown, and it's gonna be 1 second maybe. Oh, not then. And then we're gonna do local counter, and this will keep track of like the counts of how many times we clicked and stuff. So what do we want to do next? UIS. So we're gonna set up the input begin function. So input begin function, input is typing, if is typing, then return, else if input user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot mouse button 1, then. So now we have to set up the debounce, and also we have to set up how we can detect if we have the Kagune enabled, right? So what we want to do is, if debounce, well, first before that we gotta look for the Kagune. So we're gonna do local character is equal to player dot character, right? And then what we want to do is local Kagune is equal to character find first child, right? So this will enable us to put this into a if statement, and we can use it as a sort of a boolean value of true or false or whatever. And then we're going to do Kagune because that's the name of the model, and the Kagune is located in the character where we parented it at. So we want that, right? And then we want to do if Kagune, then, so if we found the Kagune, then we can run everything else in the script. So if debounce is equal to false, then debounce is equal to true, and then we want to do attack fire server, and then under that we're gonna do, actually we're not gonna do that right there. We're gonna keep that, and then we're gonna drop a line or two under UIS, and then we're gonna do attack that on client event, right? So I like to use on client event for my cooldowns. So like the server sends the cooldown, so the cooldown gets started like at the right time that it needs to be, rather than running right after you fire the server. So when I do in the on client event, we're just gonna do wait CD, which is cooldown, and then set debounce back to false, right? So now that we have that all set up, I'm gonna go to the server script, do local, or not local, but attack on server event connect function player, right? And we can pretty much just grab this character, like we grab these two lines right here and then paste them here, right? Let me make sure player is the right thing, and I like to call on the humanoid of the character just in case we need it. We might not need it for this, but it's just nice to have there just in case you need that reference. Alright, so now we're gonna do the same thing like we did in the local script. So if Kagune, then now we need to reference the animation controller, right? So what we're gonna do is local anim control is equal to Kagune find first child anim control, right? And if you know the JoJo series, you know this anim control, this is how we reference the animation controller inside the stand. This pretty much is using the same tactics and like script and stuff like that. So if anim control, then alright, so after we got if anim control, right, now we're going to go back to the preloader. We're going to copy the two animation objects that we put in there, and then we're going to go to the server script, the attack server. We're going to insert object folder, and then we're going to right click folder, paste into, and we paste the animation objects inside of that. Then we're just going to name this folder animations, right? And then we're going to do local animations is equal to script wait for child animations, right? And then I'm going to do a table. I pretty much went over what a table is, so I don't think you really need a tutorial on that. But if you need like a quick explanation, just think of it as a list of things like values and stuff. So I'm gonna just call this anims is equal to table, and then we're gonna do animations. So we want to reference the animations, right? So animations wait for child left swing, because left swing is gonna be the first swing, and then we can copy this and we can do right swing, right? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh, whoa, what was that? Then we're gonna put comma, and then we're gonna make another parameter called counter. So this is where we're gonna send counter to, right? So go back to the local script, and then what you want to do is drop a line under the debounce equals true, and then we're gonna do if I can make this actually better. So counter is equal to counter plus 1, right? And then we're gonna do if counter is greater than 2, then counter is equal to 1, right? So what this does is it increases the counter to 1, which we're gonna use to get the animations in order, right? And when it hits that limit, since we only have 2, that's why I put 2. But if you have like 5, 6, then you'll do 5 or 6 or whatever, and then it sets it back to 1. And then you want to go to the fire server and send counter in, right? That goes to counter. So now what we want to do is play the animation. So we're going to do local swing is equal to anim control load animation anims, which is the table, the brackets, and then counter. So counter is going to search the table for, let's say counter is 1, it's going to search the table for the first position, which is this first line right here, and it's going to play that animation. So then we do play, and there we go. I'm gonna come back here and make CD 0.25, right? And then what we want to do is right below it, we're gonna do attack fire client, and then we're gonna send the player back through it. So now when we work on this, right, this should work. So when we get here, press Q, and if I left click, see, swings, 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 and we got our left and right click attacks. Okay, so now we're gonna make it do damage, right? It's actually clean and pretty smooth. So now we're gonna do a hitbox, right? So go to the server script, make a folder, name this meshes. We're not really gonna use a mesh, but I'm gonna use like a part. Now I'm gonna make this part 3 by 3 by 3, right? So we got like a big hitbox. Then we're gonna name it hitbox, right? We're gonna make sure can collide is false, massless is true, and I'm going to make this like a red color, and then make transparency 0.5. So now, what I want to do is I want to pick the end of the tail, which is let me look at this model. I think it's segment 6. Segment 6. Yeah, segment 6. Okay. So we can close that out. I'm gonna come back to the server script. I'm gonna drop a line on the animations. We're gonna do meshes is equal to script wait for child meshes. And then what we want to do is drag this inside of there. So in the Explorer tab, just drag it to the server script and into the meshes folder. So now what we want to do is drop a few lines under the animation being played. I'm going to do local hitbox is equal to meshes wait for child, and then we need to clone the hitbox, right? So we're going to do :clone, and then we're going to do hitbox dot cframe is equal to Kagune dot seg6 dot cframe, because that's the end of the tail. And then we want to parent this to, sorry for the recur. So we're going to parent this to let's do character. Doesn't matter if we do it through characters, that's fine. Then we have to weld it, because if we do it now it's just gonna fall off from where it spawned at. So we're gonna weld it. So local weld is equal to instance.new manual weld, and then we're gonna drop a line. Well, the part 0 is the part that we are welding, which is the hitbox, and part 1 is always the part that we're welding part 0 to. So the Kagune.seg6, right? And then we're gonna do weld C0, which I believe that's like C frame 0, and then we're gonna do weld.part0.cframe :2 object space, which sets the C frame to weld.part1.cframe, right? So that's just gonna set the C frame, and then we're gonna parent the weld. So the weld always has to be parented to part 0, right? So now that we have that, we'll drop a few lines just for a little bit, and we're gonna test. So if we test this, click E. Yep, we got that big hitbox. Now we're gonna have to make this like disappear. But yeah, you know what it means and stuff. I'm gonna check the animations real quick, just like get the length. So let me do that. Like how long the animation is. Okay, so 0.25 will be a nice time to remove the hitbox then. So what we're gonna do is scroll up in the server script. I'm gonna drop a line under attack. We're gonna do local debris is equal to game get service debris, right? So we're gonna need to use this to get rid of the hitbox. So debris add item hitbox and then 0.25, right? So now when we test this, since the cooldown is 0.25 as well, the hitbox will be gone by then. So let's load in. Spawn in the Kagune. Bam, 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 bam. And yeah, you see the hitbox goes away when it's time to go away, and we have a hitbox big enough to attack our target. So let's make it do damage now. So after you drop a few lines right under the weld, right, we're gonna do hitbox.touched :connect function, right? And then we're going to, in the parentheses, we're gonna put hit, which is the object that we hit, right? Maybe we could call this object, And then what we want to do is check and see if the object is a base part, which is either a regular part, a mesh part, or it was another type of part that you can use for it. But that's how it will be. So rather than having to do like if mesh part, if is a mesh part, or if is a part, then we can just do base plate. So if object is a base part, not base plate, but base part, then now we want to do if not, because we do not want this to touch our character. Object dot, not dot, but is descendant of character, right? So if it's not a descendant of our character, or if it's not inside of our character, then it will continue, like it will ignore our character and stuff. But if it's not our character, then it can move forward to damaging it. So now what we want to do is find the humanoid of that enemy. So local e humanoid, so enemy humanoid is equal to object dot parent, which is the character of that player. Then we're going to define first child humanoid, right? Because their humanoid is still named humanoid and not enemy humanoid, you know. So now what we want to do is if e humanoid, then so if we found the humanoid, then Hitbox will destroy itself, and e humanoid colon take damage, and we're just gonna say it's gonna take 15 damage, right? So now if we test this, this should do damage to our target. So we go over here, call the Kagune out. Yep, damage. So now we have an attacking Kagune tail. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna just make sure the hitbox transparency is a 1 now, so you can't see it. And this should conclude the part 2. So if you guys like this part and want to see like more of this Kagune, because like I'm actually excited to continue this series. That's actually pretty cool. We could probably continue it if you guys want more of it. Also let me know in the comments if you want any other different types of videos. I know I've seen like your One Piece comments and My Hero stuff. I might continue the My Hero stuff. I might. I don't know, but I don't know if I want to do One Piece stuff. But yeah. Hope you enjoy. Hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.